We've spoken before about the 60/40 portfolio of stocks and bonds and how poorly it did in 2022, how poorly it actually lost 16%. But there are some analysts out there that say the worst is behind it, and they're predicting big things for 60/40. It should earn 6.9% with moderate risk going forward. That's what they're saying. Guys, what do you think? Is that outlook too rosy? And when it comes to the portfolio partition, is that something you ultimately leave up to clients, or do they leave that up to you?
I think a lot of people look to us for advice and guidance, but one thing that I would say is if you look at last year, the 60/40 portfolio was dead, right? And so making a decision on what already happened is like driving by looking in your rear view mirror. That's not a good solution. In fact, when I look at 60/40 portfolio returns in 2023, I think that there's a lot of reasons why those portfolio returns could be strong. If we can get the markets to continue to cooperate like they have so far in the early part of the year, the stock and bond market, a 60/40 portfolio, might be good for somebody who's looking to kind of just set it and forget it. Somebody who has time on their side. The biggest challenge, though, is that I want to address those folks that are close to or in retirement time, because even a 60/40 portfolio, what happens is whether I'm giving you advice or you're getting it from somebody on a TV or on Wall Street, nobody controls what the market does. And the market can do whatever it wants to do this year, even though it has the opportunity. What happens if we have another big hiccup? What happens if the market doesn't work out? What happens if things turn in the opposite direction? So the problem is there's no plan B. There's no alternatives in place. If you have another time that the stock and bond market get beat up and go down, then I think, and again, I'm a bit biased, I think it's why it's important to have a philosophy like what we've trademarked called the independent income system. So if you want to know, what are the biggest threats right now, just Google independent income system, and we'll talk you through how to build out your portfolio to make that journey a little bit smoother. I don't want you making a financial decisions based upon what happened last year. I want you to make a decision based upon looking forward, not looking in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, I agree too. And I think sometimes the 60/40 portfolio gets a lot of credit simply because that's what advisors are used to. A lot of I would guess maybe unsophisticated or maybe not as experienced advisors turn to these blanket sort of turnkey portfolio rule of thumbs, 60/40 model portfolios, because it's just, again, simple for them to implement. It's easy to call somebody moderate, have them answer a couple of questions, and then put them in a 60/40 portfolio or an 80/20, or some derivation of a model strategy. And so that's really where the risk is. It's not so much that the 60/40 itself is the end-all be-all of portfolios, but I think it's just a very simple, uncomplicated, unsophisticated way to get access to the market and have some money for safe keepings in the 40% portfolio. But again, it all comes down to what you need and when you're going to need the money, which what I've seen in doing these financial plans is that sometimes it does come out to a 60/40 mix, but or 50/50, or just kind of depending on the situation with the client. But to me, it's more important of the process that you go through to get to the 60/40. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you're just a strong optimist, yes, 60/40 is probably a good fit for you going forward. But if you really want to have confidence in your financial plan, if you want in your financial future for that matter, I believe psychologically going through the process of learning about the independent income system, having a conversation about what your goals are, and helping and having an advisor with 20, 30 years of experience to help articulate what those goals mean to you financially, and that you understand where each dollar is actually dedicated and why. I think in times where the 60/40 portfolio doesn't work for you, you're going to be in a little bit more confident situation to kind of weather the storm and to stay invested so you can meet those long-term goals because you've went through the exercise, you've gotten the training, and you understand what your money means and why it's there and what it's there to do, more so than just the model itself.
Yeah, and we'll be talking more about this and all the topics again in that retirement playbook event that we have. That's our university class that's coming up again, arhq.com. You can get those details and sign up online, where we'll be talking about the markets, the risks, the state of the economy, and help getting you looking forward for the journey ahead.
Those classes coming up March 13th and March 15th. If you've got the time, they'd love to have you out there. Find out more, including how to go and reserve your seat by going to arhq.com or schedule a time to speak with the guys at America's Retirement Headquarters, 419-794-3030. That's the thing about these rules of thumb. It's not the law of the land. It's a good place to start from, but it's not the end-all be-all, as Chaz says. You want something customized specifically for you, and the team at America's Retirement Headquarters over, 50-plus years of combined industry experience, they can help you with that. Real easy to get in touch with, 419-794-3030, online, arhq.com. Want to thank you for joining us this week, as we always do. Really do appreciate you taking the time, spending part of it with us here on America's Retirement Headquarters. Please have a great week ahead of you. Be safe out there. Chaz, Nolan, always appreciate the time with you as well. And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with the final word.
Yeah, great quote here from Jessica Hill. It's the only one who can tell you you can't win is you, and you don't have to listen. So have a great week, folks. We'll see you back here, same time, same channel, right here on Toledo's largest talk station, 1370 WSPD. Just remember, when you think retirement, think America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys formula and America's Medicare Associates.